All right, for numbers 11 and 12, the directions say for each problem, find the particular solution of the differential equation that satisfies the initial condition. So we'll go ahead and look here at number 11. We want to find the specific one where y of 1 is 25 over 16. So once again, these are still separable differential equations. So we'll go ahead and get the y's to one side and the x's to the other side. Let's go ahead and rewrite this first of all just as y to the 1/2 and then now that we do this, we can get the x's to the right side and the y's to the left side. So the way that we're going to do this is we can obviously multiply both sides by dx. That's nice and simple. To get the y to the 1/2 to the other side, we can divide by y to the 1/2. There's a few different ways to think through this. We'll go with this because this is probably what would be most familiar. So right now we have dy, and these cancel, so this is kind of like y over 1 to the y to the 1/2 equals just x dx because these cancel. And then over here on the left side, we usually write this as y to the negative 1/2 dy equals x dx. And now we want to integrate. And when we do this, we get y to the 1/2, and then a 2 comes out front here, plus some c value equals, and this is going to be 1/2 x squared plus some other c value. And we can go ahead and get the c's to one side. So this will be 2y to the 1/2 equals 1/2 x squared plus some other c value because we're just subtracting c sub 1 from both sides to give us another constant. Then we could go ahead and multiply both sides by 1/2. And that gives us y to the 1/2 equals, and we'll distribute that 1/2 in there, which is 1/4 x squared, plus some constant term still, because 1/2 times a constant is still just some other constant. And then we can, to get rid of this 1/2 power, we can square both sides, because we know a power to a power you multiply, and 1/2 times 2 is 1. And so we get, we're going to have to come up here now, we get y equals 1/4 x squared plus some c value squared. Now we know that when we put 1 in for x, we will get 25/16. So 25/16 is going to be equal to 1/4 times 1 squared plus c, that whole thing squared. And we're going to find a c value so we can find this particular solution. So 25/16 equals, and let's go ahead and we got 1 squared is 1, so we got 1/4 plus c, that whole thing squared. Well, this is interesting. We got 25/16 squaring this, we get 1/16. So we can multiply this out. We could right next to each other multiply it out, but we got 1/4 c doubled, so that's plus 1/2 c plus c squared. And we want to solve for c, so it's a quadratic, so we can subtract 25/16 from both sides, which would give us c squared plus 1/2 c minus 24/16, which does reduce by 8, so this is 3/2. Just to help us out, we're going to go ahead and multiply. We probably could figure this out by factoring. My guess is you would probably prefer if we had whole numbers, so I'm going to go ahead and multiply both sides by 2, because that will give us 2c squared plus c minus 3. And now we can factor this to solve. So we're going to have a 2c times a c, and it looks like we'll have plus 3 and minus 1, which means c equals negative 3/2 from this term here, or c equals 1 from that term there. And so finally, our answer, we want to put these c values in. Y equals 1/4 x squared plus 3/2 squared is one solution. Or we could have y equals 1/4 x squared plus 1, and that whole thing squared.